Greetings, you slimy cretins, and welcome to the New Signs Final Fantasy Tactics Challenge. As I mentioned before, this is going to be a Knight SCC, so that means I get a full party. I had some trouble getting everything to work properly, but I was able to get Vincent, who does a lot of the absolutely crazy solo challenges, including several monster classes. I can't remember which ones he's beaten and which ones he's just got very far on. I think he concluded that, I think it was Ultima Demon, for example, can't beat Hashmalum, which means he went through the entire game as an Ultima Demon to stop at Hashmalum after concluding that it was impossible. Pretty dedicated guy. Anyway, we do have all of the different characters represented as different sprites, all my favorite ones. We've got Ramza, Fancy Pants, Truthiness, Mustard, and Skirts. I did set all their zodiacs ahead of time as needed. We got 2 Tauruses. We got Taurus and Capricorn represented in the males. Bear in mind, though, that these do count as... Hold on a minute. Oops. Forgot to get the Brave up. I can adjust that later on my own, probably, and worst case scenario, oh god, no, fewer counter tackles. So yeah, the males got the generic zodiac signs, and the females got the zodiac signs that are particularly notable against, that are best compatibility. But they all do count as females, except for Ramza, who counts as a girly man. One other little catch that wasn't able to be fixed is that if you don't set their sprite as Rafa, you can't actually learn their skills. So I just had the jobs be mastered from the outset. In all honesty, it wouldn't take that long to master them anyway, and I can just choose not to use the higher level spells. We'll just stick with Heaven, Thunder, I guess. I think that's what it's called. I don't know. That's all I know. That's what Rafa calls it, and that's all I really care about. Now, at the bottom of this... Alright, let's make sure... Alright, we got the whole list. At the bottom of this video, I'm going to list the relevant information about each of the skills so you know what I'm working with. I'll list their damage, formula, their element, and their charge time. For right now, though, we're going to stick with Heaven Thunder, which charges in 3 rounds and is lightning elemental. Does relatively low damage. The formula for for truth abilities is MA plus the spell constant divided by 2 times your MA again. Now this means that MA does factor into it twice, although it's somewhat balanced against the spell constant itself. But that does mean that each point we put into it is worth at least a little bit more, is worth more than the last, even if it's not a full square relationship between the two. So we're going to want to keep it relatively high. One moment. Alright, doesn't actually list equipment when you do that. Our equipments are staves and sticks, which means we can't use rods, which includes the wizard rod, which is plus 2 MA, but we do get to use sticks, which provide pretty solid melee damage at a range of 2 spaces. Other than that, we get hats and clothes and robes. And all the rest of them are women, in case that ever comes up, which it may. You know, regeneration, whatever the heck else you get on those things, on the handbags. Ramza's not, though, and Ramza's faith is also high, so he may want to keep back under some circumstances. That's why I got a second Taurus, in case I wanted a Taurus with low faith. Think that is all considerations. I get the Squire RSM will have counter tackle and move +1, so a base movement speed of 4. And we get, oh yay, defend as our support ability. This is almost completely worthless, but as we get better mantles, it'll start seeing some more use. Now, these spells have an AoE have 1 AoE and a vertical limitation of 3. Anything shorter than that will reduce the size of it and therefore effectively increase the reliability of the spell. Now we're probably going to have to layer spells every now and again just to be certain, Because on average, 3 shots is more likely to hit the target than not. If we can get it down to 3 panels, on average we get 3.5 shots. And if we get it down to 3 panels, we are more likely to hit her than not. But we do need to hit her twice with these guys' things. To hit delete or not to hit delete it. Considering you could shock the hell out of him, I think we'll leave him alone. However, this being not a solo challenge, we don't need delete it to the same degree that we have in the past. Heaven Thunder! Ouch! So yeah, that would have done 90 damage if she had the health to take it. And Beowulf's would have done 0 damage. So, as you can guess, this is generally going to be somewhat unreliable. For the most part, the only thing that differs between the abilities is their element, level of damage, and charge time. We have, just for reference, we have lightning, fire, wind, water, and heart. Actually, we don't have ice, which is kind of a shame because a lot of enemies are weak to ice, but there are also a fair amount that are also weak to wind. That is an element you don't get to use that often. This one sounds useful because it can add status effects. Unfortunately, the status effect apply-in rate is so pathetically low that it's never worth using. Also, this one is notable for one simple reason. Earth Clothes. Strengthen Earth, absorb Earth. I don't think I need to describe to you how incredibly awesome that is. I could anyway, because I love to talk, but, you know, I'm not that big of a dick. Alright. So we can't get too much either way, so we're going to have to deal with a 4-square shot. 30 damage, not so shabby. These skills, by the way, don't cost MA. Alright. So, 2 out of 5 ain't bad. We have to be not afraid to layer these things, people. It is kind of a downside because I'd like to see how well it goes before I choose to keep firing more, but just the part we're going to have to learn to deal with. Shocking, isn't it? Alright. So, yep. All I really wanted to do was do a quick intro, make sure everything was working properly, and it seems to be. The Brave is lower than standard. Like I said, though, it's not an immediate problem. I mean, like I said, the only thing, we're not going to be using our fists, and the only thing that's attached to... Oh, what's all this then? Actually, a lot of the time, I'm not going to have defense set. Because you've seen how I can occasionally grab the wrong commands. Well, you can't undo defend once you pick it, and I don't want to accidentally pick the wrong one all the time. So I'm only going to bring it if I think I'm going to end up using it, and that's not going to be until I start getting better mantles, or I need explicitly to make one character a decoy. So we're mostly just going to stick with counter tackle and move +1. As you can see, I can't actually... I don't know... Actually, I'm not entirely sure what this would look like if I hadn't mastered them, but it might take me to the Squire job list. That's why I can't learn new abilities. So we're mostly gonna... Let's see here. We do have the JP listed. So I guess what I'll do is I'll look up... I'm not going to think about it too hard, because I don't want to keep track of it for individual units, but they're going to end up having similar JP anyway. So basically, if Ramza, I'm going to use Ramza as kind of the meter mark for who learns what. Move +1 is 200, Heaven Thunder is another 200, and Counter Tackle is 180. So we're actually going to go and remove the reaction and movement abilities for now, because not all of them have 200 JP, but I really don't want to play these without having Heaven Thunder at all. So we'll just keep that in mind, and we'll upgrade, we'll let myself access the abilities that I've unlocked as we go along as Romza gets them. He'll get them a little bit sooner than otherwise, but I really don't want to micromanage on that kind of level. I did give them different sprites and names to be able to keep track of them easier, but I'm never going to remember who I've let unlock what. So, we're going to make a couple more adjustments, make sure to get ourselves equipped. Alright. Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't use MP. That looks pretty sitting in the inventory. Definitely don't need that. Now they don't... Okay, they don't sell the upgrade close to later, but I do have enough... Oh, I can't buy boots now. Right. Can I get anything better for Delita, or does he got the best stuff? Okay. So yep, that's everything for now. Just a short one to go and test to make sure everything works properly. We'll continue more later, and you will get to enjoy the Heaven Knight Solo Class Challenge with a bunch of your favorite people with funny names. So, saving. And I will see you guys next time.